Hey, what it do, y'all? It's your boy E2 Blue coming back at you again, man. And look, I want to talk a little bit about the last preseason game. We know that the last preseason game is just what it is. It's for a last hurrah for the guys that try to make a final push for the roster. We know that roster cut downs are tomorrow, Saturday, by 4 p.m. Everybody has to have all their players down to, they got to cut 37 players down to the 53-man roster by 4 p.m. So I got an idea of who I think that they will pick, but I might do a video on that later. I gotta write it down because I can't remember everything off top. What I wanted, because I gotta visually look at the numbers, but you know. But anyway, what I will say about the game though, there were some standouts. Nate Hall, linebacker, maybe a little bit too late for him to make the team now, but he did have, like, I think 7 special teams tackles, and he did pretty good in the game on actual defense as well. He could definitely be a practice squad guy now, because linebacker position to me is already set. They're going to keep Gifford. He's injured, so he's probably going to go on IR, which could be a spot for another guy, but we'll talk about that later. Oh, real quick though, before I get into the game, Cowboys did get some news about Rolando McClain. You guys remember Rolando McClain when he was with this team in 2014 and 15? Great linebacker, thumping linebacker, very athletic guy. He was a former first-round pick for the Raiders back in 2010. I think he was Alabama's first linebacker to get drafted that early. Since I think the 90s. But anyway, he's always been a good player, but his mindset wasn't always in the football. As you guys know, that he had got suspended for I guess, what is it, the performance enhancement? I don't know if it was the drugs or it was something, but he ended up getting suspended, so he ended up retiring. Now this is the second time he retired. You guys remember when he got drafted, he played with the Raiders, played a couple of seasons with them, then got picked up by the Ravens. After he left the Raiders, he didn't even get a chance to suit up for them. He signed, I think it was like the very next day or something like that, or a couple of days after that, he retired. And I'm like, that's like a smack in the face. I signed you and you retire? What in the world are you doing? So then he decided to come back. He came to the Dallas Cowboys when Sean Lee got injured that year in 14. Because you remember, that was that era where we had, y'all remember Ernie Sims? Oh my God, like that was that era where our guys were just like beat the hell up. Like we didn't have like, what is before 2014 I'm talking about, but we went through an era where we didn't have linebacker depth like that. But you look at this team right now and the linebackers we got right now, it's like night and day. It's like night and day. You got your guys for the future right now, and you can't do nothing but be happy about that. You can't do anything but be happy about that. But like I said before, with him, Cowboys still own his rights because he was a part of the Dallas Cowboys roster before he retired the last time. So you look at, well, not necessarily retired, he just kind of just stepped away from football because he knew he was suspended. So it wasn't no reason for him to, in his mind, he was like, well, football's not in my mind. And after not playing football since 2015, you took 3 whole seasons off, and I guess you get a chance to sit back and think about life, and you're like, you don't want no shoulda, coulda, woulda. So I guess in his aspect, he's just thinking like, hey, I want to come back. I want to play football. I want to relive while I still got it. The Cowboys still own his rights, so has a conditional offer, a conditional reinstatement, meaning there's stipulations to it, kind of like with Randy Gregory. Like, I'm pretty sure they might have to, he has to come get tests done on a weekly basis or whatever. So yeah, I think that the Cowboys have 2 options. They can say, hey, we got enough linebackers, we don't need you, which is probably what they'll do. But then again, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what their mindset is right now because they're, it's roster cut down, so everybody's hush-hush about everything. I'll say this, though. They got options. Rolando McClain, I mean, he's injury-free right now because he sat out for a while now, but we don't know what his conditioning is like either. But we know that when he's on it, he's on it. He's a great player. They can release his rights, or they could keep him around and say, hey, just work out with us and let's see where you're at and go from there and move forward. But that's an option. Yeah, I just got to came from the barbershop getting my fresh shape up. Fresh as I'm is for Labor Day weekend, y'all. So anyway, as I was saying about the game last night. Now, Donovan Wilson came out there, got his third interception in the preseason. Throughout the 4 preseason games, got his fourth one. Got his third one last night. Guy made the roster. We already know he's there. He's on the roster. Pretty sure he's the 5th guy. But unfortunately, he might be on the inactive list for a couple of weeks because he also injured his ankle. So that's going to hold him out for a little while. So you guys got it. Unfortunately, again, you guys, I tell you guys all the time, injuries aren't inevitable. They happen. There's nothing you can do about it. And a lot of times when you cut down the rosters, injuries actually help you cut down the roster because you can put guys on a certain list and you can still kind of keep them low key so another team don't get them, because a lot of you already know when you put a guy on the practice squad, they can get poached by any team. So that's gonna help out too as well. But you're gonna have to make a decision after week 2 anyway, because you know that Robert Quinn has his 2-game suspension, so he'll be back after that. So this defensive line is gonna be hard to figure out too as well. But I'm gonna go home and check my books, and I'm gonna check some things out, and I'm gonna try to figure it out and try to figure out what we can do. What can we do to figure this thing out? And it's gonna be difficult, but it definitely can be done. And like I said, with some of the injured players, you can kind of hide them a little bit so they're not so they don't get poached by another team, because we got talent, y'all. And there's been teams out here trying to trade for some of our guys. There's whispers out there that teams are trying to get one of our linemen. What was his name? God, I'm having a brain fart. What is the offensive lineman guy? I'll think of it. But anyway, there was talks about Taco Charlton. Some people think that Taco Charlton's going to get traded or he's going to get X'd out. And I thought the same thing as well. But after hearing Jerry Jones talk about it, it seems like they plan on him being here. So I don't think Taco's going nowhere. And again, I think it'd be stupid because his money is guaranteed. Why would you take that chance of not having that guy? Why would you lose $3 million? We're not trying to do that, because we're trying to sign these guys. Is that if anything, if you're gonna make a trade, you're gonna trade a guy that you are okay with losing, but at the same time, you don't want it to mess up your why my stand keep messing up? You don't want it to mess up what you're doing with your offense. In your defense. You don't want to mess with your roster in a way that it's going to hinder you in the future, because remember I tell you guys before that injuries are inevitable, and you want to make sure that you're making the right cuts at the right spots, because it can come back to haunt you. You remember that trade that we did, what was that, last year or the year before? When we traded to Kansas City. We gave Travarius Ward to Kansas City, and we get Parker Enger in return, and then he messes up and gets an injury a couple of days after he got with the team. Ain't even practiced that long. That's just, again, you can't. And Travarius Ward ended up starting for them a couple of games last season. I was watching him, and I'm like, see, we could have had that guy. But again, I'm loving what we have with our safeties and our cornerbacks now. Byron Jones came back. He's out there working out and doing his thing, so that's a good thing. They said that Travis Frederick is good to go for the game. We're getting our guys back, and I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling good about this Giants game now. Again, we don't know what's going to happen with Ezekiel Elliott. I'm not going to talk about it no more because I'm done talking about it. At this point, it's on him. You're going to miss game checks, you're going to miss game checks. Now, it is what it is. The Cowboys gave him an offer. That's it. What else do you want them to do? You don't want to be the second highest paid running back. You want to be the highest paid running back. Okay, well, you're right there, bro. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm not gonna go into it because it's just frustrating. Just trying to wrap my brain around the situation. And I mean, these agents out here, and it looks like the Cowboys and don't like Rocky, his agent, anyway. So it's already some animosity right there. So you already know how that goes. Jalen Guyton, him and Jon'Vea Johnson, they had really good games. Jon'Vea Johnson showed up in the beginning. He actually has a shoulder injury, Jon'Vea. So he's definitely going to be a practice squad guy, or they're going to waive him injured and bring him back in the practice squad. Pretty much what's going to happen with him. So he's not going to make the 53. And Jalen Guyton either, but he did play a good game. I mean, he took a short pass and took it to the house, 69 yards. Now, on defense, I talked about Donovan Wilson. Let's talk about another Donovan Olumba. Olumba is a funny guy because I've mentioned him before, and my whole thing with him is I like how he's aggressive and he's tall and lanky type of guy. They always say he's the poor man's Richard Sherman, but the only problem is he's slow. And I don't think he's going to make this roster because his speed. He's not going to be a guy that can keep up with wide receivers like Julio Jones and Odell Beckham and things of that nature. He's not going to be able to keep up with those guys. I actually think they're going to keep Mike White. No, not Mike White. He's gone. I think they're going to keep Mike Jack over him because Michael Jackson he's got 4.3 speed. So even though he didn't play that much because of his injuries, or practice that much in training camp because of his injuries, I think they're going to give him the nod over Olumba. Olumba still has practice squad eligibility. He can go back, but also he could be poached as well because, again, there's tape out on him now. It might be a team out there that's really desperate for, a DB, and they might go out and get him. Who knows? But I'll talk a little bit about that more in depth when I try to cut down to 53. I'm gonna try to get a cut down before the actual cut downs. I don't think the Cowboys are gonna cut anybody before that time, but we'll see. We'll definitely see. But I'm looking at, again, the 4th preseason game. A lot of it was boring. You look at on the other side of the ball, Tampa Bay, they played their backup Griffin because Blaine Gabbert got injured. So I think that Griffin is going to be their backup guy going forward this season. Now they might be looking for a third quarterback because I don't think they're going to keep Vincent Testaverde. And if that last name is makes you be like, Testaverde. Yes. So Vincent Testaverde, the quarterback that played for Tampa Bay last night. If you don't know by now, you're going to know now. He is the son of Vinny Testaverde, which was a guy that played for Tampa Bay. I don't know how many seasons he played with them, but he played a long time for Tampa Bay. He came to the Cowboys for one season. He was a starter in 2004, I think, 2004, something like that. Right before Tony Romo took the job over, when Tony Romo was in his first or second year or whatever like that. He had the starting role that year when he came to the Cowboys, but he was there at the game last night. He got to see his son out there play ball for the team that he was drafted to, which is kind of cool. A cool little story. Now, Vincent Testaverde may have a short shelf life in the NFL, but he did get a little bit of little taste of it. And he can always say that, I won my first preseason game, and I got to play for a little bit for the team that my dad was drafted to. So you got those little bragging rights there as well to talk about. But I just thought that was a cool little interesting story. So shout out to him and Tampa Bay for that. That's kind of cool story. It's got to be wonderful to be, no matter if your son made the team or not, just the fact that your son wore a uniform for the team that you were drafted to. Those of you fathers out there that have sons, you already know that it's a wonderful thing to see your kids following your footsteps, and to see that in real life. I know that Vinny Testaverde was proud of his son, regardless of the situation, regardless if he makes their roster or not. Now, an interesting thing about that, some teams are looking for backup quarterbacks. Now, you Dak haters talk about how Dak sucks and this and that, but Him and Cooper Rush are going to be the guys. Now, if they don't keep Mike White, which I doubt at this point because you're going to need roster spots elsewhere, Tampa Bay could be wanting to get him after we cut him. So who knows? So Mike White's probably looking at this situation like, look, I need to go to a team where, because I know the Cowboys are going to pay Dak 30+ mil. I know that I will never get a chance to be a starter here or have a chance to really do much here. The thing about Mike White that kills me, I don't know what happened, but, you know, follow him in college. You know, he was a 5th round pick, but a lot of guys had a 3rd round grade on him. Now, some teams may look at him and be like, hey, let's give him a chance. Maybe we can be the one to build his confidence. Because if you watch him play, you can tell that his confidence is not there. He wasn't throwing the ball deep. He did get a little drive where he marched down the field, but that was like 1 out of 12. So you got to kind of have a little bit more production in that if you want to be a quarterback in this league, because again, it's treacherous out there, especially when you're playing with the first team. And I understand he was playing with the 3rd and 4s and the offensive line. You could see that they were tired. They're not used to playing a whole game like that, especially at the NFL level. And you know, it was a lot of penalties, of false starts going on. So you know, and they weren't blocking the best. They were very sometimey. So to get a good grade of it is that, but you know that Mike White just needs to get more confidence, and maybe if he goes to another team, that might help him out. But again, that's all I have to say about that. Preseason is now over after Labor Day. Hey guys, Tuesday we go back. It's back to football, y'all. The regular season starts. We get to watch our Cowboys try to march for 6. Let's see if we can march for 6, y'all. March for 6, quest for 6, everything for 6. Carpe diem for 6. Let's seize the damn day. Let's get it, y'all. Let's get it. Cause the goal right now is Miami, y'all. Y'all do know that. We drafted 2 guys from the U. So it's time to go to Miami, all right? And that's the goal by the end of the season. Let's get to the Super Bowl, y'all. And no playing. Zeke, bring your ass back to the team right now. Right now. Matter of fact, you need to be en route as I say this. Back to your team. Don't hang out. Don't have fun on Labor Day. Get with the team. I don't care if they there or not. You better get in that weight room, that gym, something. You sit in there and you wait for your team to get there. When they get back, you say, Jerry, I'm sorry. I'm going to play. I'll go ahead and accept that contract offer that you gave me. And play. It's like, nah, but I can't tell a grown man what to do with his money, but I just thought it was funny to say that. But anyway, guys, excited. Tuesday, back to football. Get ready to play these Giants week 1. I know Mark and Mike, they're going to watch the game. They're actually going to Dallas. So those of you that are going to be at the game, shout out to y'all. I will be enjoying week 2 when we do the tailgate. That's going to be a big thing. But outside of that, y'all, let's get ready for football. So with that being said, y'all, thanks again to all my subscribers. I appreciate you guys. You guys are the real MVPs here. So it's your boy E2 Blue, always keeping it real. I'll talk to y'all soon.